Welcome back, Nailsha.
Hi, how are you guys? Hello.
Okay, Nailsha. The next question I have for you is, what was it like being a child of addicted parents?
Well, I could just give you my best interpretation because I guess when things started going really bad, I didn't really know they were addicted just yet because we got the whole it's medicine spiel if we ever walked in on them doing drugs or something like that. Because with kids, especially kids that are educated and cunning, you're going to have some break-ins and some violations of privacy. So after moving from our fourth floor apartment into the basement, of course we knew that there was an issue because a lot of things changed right after that. I was transitioning from from preschool to kindergarten, and I went to a whole new school, a whole new city, all in New Jersey, but a whole new city. It was urban. It was a lot of things going on. And I remember I guess the first thing I can remember is I guess you don't know you're poor until somebody points it out. Because kids are happy with relatively little amounts. As long as they can be together, as long as they have somebody to play with or talk to, they're happy, pretty much. But the first time somebody told me at school that my clothes weren't nice, I was like, really? Why? And after that, you started to hear it a little bit more often, like, oh, you're dirty, and oh, what's wrong with your hair? Things that I never heard before. So I'm like, it must have just started happening. Like, that's when you start to pay attention to your own life. That's when, as a child, you start to become a little investigator. You want to know what is the problem, because something's the problem. You don't realize mommy and daddy's getting high, so they're the same people, maybe a little different, but you kind of, I don't know, I guess you got like a want to know exactly what changed them, to make sure that it's not you, to make sure that you can't be blamed for this in any way. So when my parents had the doors locked now in the basement, instead of just going about my business and wandering with my brother, we actually used to try to find out. We used to try to break in, sneak up on them. What you doing in there? Things like that. I can remember distinctly my brother and I putting mirrors under my dad and mom's door to see exactly what they were doing in there when the doors were locked. And we definitely seen them smoking crack. We definitely seen them putting things up their nose and sniffing it. But we still didn't know exactly what it was. So of course when we seen it, we thought it was just the dandiest thing to talk about. So the next time we saw our parents outside the room, they might have been stoned out. I'm thinking, it's kind of, if you don't laugh, you cry, believe me. So if you see me laughing, believe you me, it's not because I find it in any way funny, but it's literally true. If I'm not laughing, the emotion will choke me up so bad, because I do know now that I was innocent. I do know now that I was a victim without any responsibility for anything that went wrong in my life from that point up until that next point. But of course, okay, back to when they used to get out of the rooms, we used to confront them about what we saw in the mirrors. They used to tell us, like, don't violate mommy and daddy's privacy. You're not supposed to do that. The door's locked because we don't want you looking. But it's medicine. Okay, so with that, again, you got to be careful what you tell educated and cunning kids, because if you raise your kid to be intelligent, don't expect them to play dumb when it benefits you. Don't, because it's not going to work. Okay, so the medicine thing flew for about maybe 2 weeks. Because then I was like, well, when mommy gives me medicine, I never smoke it. I never put it in my nose. But then again, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I said, well, maybe it's grown-up medicine. So, but then I started to be like, objective about the whole thing. I'm like, well, mommy's not coughing. Mommy doesn't sneeze. She's not in the bed. And by this point, by the time we moved to the basement, they had both lost their jobs. So they weren't going to work, not because they were sick, they just weren't going to work. They looked alive and well, like physically, to me and my brother. So we had no idea why they were taking medicine every single day, because that's the one constant that remained in my life after the basement move, is that every single day for at least an hour, doors were locked and we had no communication with the parents. None. We were in the very next room. Sometimes they would have high sessions. I don't know what you call them. But, all the friends used to come over and be in a group of people getting high as if it was the most dandy time in the world. And we were just like in a whole nother world on the outside of the door, starving and feeling like you weren't a part of everything. Feeling like the door was their feelings, like they wanted you out. But if you want to know more, let me know. Let me know your feedback, people. I'm only doing this because I feel like I should do something with this pain instead of just harbor it. So if it helps me to talk about it and get over it and to forgive and to forget, gotta do what I gotta do. Let me know. Subscribe. Please subscribe.